Hi, everybody. In this quick video, I'm going to highlight assignment 5.10, data science with Python. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's a perfect example of an assignment that can be used for the create performance task. Now, a lot of teachers do the Python bootcamp with their students, but at the end of the Python bootcamp, we show you the Python password generator program. We show you the Python leap year program, the Python calendar program, but teachers want more examples of Python programs, especially ones that are good for the create performance task. Now, the Unit 4 project is actually not a good example of a create performance task for the students. But in Unit 5, and I know a lot of people try to get through Unit 5 as quickly as possible because the school year is coming to an end and they're running out of time. But assignment 5.10 is really important. Data science with Python. This is a good example of a create performance task. So I just want to highlight the assignment for you and then explain to you how you would use our create performance task assignments to then do it. So assignment 5.10, it's a 2-day assignment. And what your student's going to have to do is they're going to have to use a data set. Now, to back up a second, a data set for Python would be a CSV file. A CSV file is plain and simple an Excel spreadsheet, okay? And that's why this is a good example of a create performance task. They're going to be using a data set, a list of data. They're going to process through it and then pick out one of the statistics from it. So the first thing to notice about this assignment is we have some data sets already in the file tree for you, okay? Under project, you'll see we have a lot of data sets. And since you're doing this with students, we wanted to give you data sets that we consider to be fun, all right? So we have book reviews, serial, fantasy, professional sports stuff for basketball, Game of Thrones episodes, statistics. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff here. Now, my personal favorite, since I'm old school, is we have a Bob Ross episode data set. So it actually lists all the episode of all the Bob Ross happy paintings. And then it actually breaks down each episode and it tells you, did Bob Ross make a happy little tree? Did he make a happy little stream? Is it a mountain scene? Is it a forest scene, a winter scene, a summer scene? So that's what's in that data set. And that's the one I'm going to actually show you in this quick video. But your students can use any data set they want. They can upload it to the file tree. So if you have students who are a little bit more serious with this project, you can find at data.gov tons of data sets, and by tons I mean 22,239. All right, and these data sets are actually more real world based, okay? So if you want to make this project more culturally responsive, you would want to use real world examples such as these, like electric vehicle population data, chronic disease indicators. This one's cool. Lottery Powerball winning numbers beginning in 2010. So this is that data set, data.gov. If you go to Kaggle, Kaggle also has some fun beginner-friendly data sets, UFO sightings, animal bites, okay, dogs of Zurich. So obviously, there's a lot of data sets out there that your students can use. Now, the assignment itself, okay, the assignment itself is broken into 2 class periods. All right, the first one, we're going to scaffold, all right, the first half of the project, and that's the scaffolding part where we take them step by step on how to write this program in Python that's then going to sort through the data sets, all right? And then the second class period is when the students have to actually write the program, all right? And then they can either choose one of the data sets that we have included, or like I said, the students can upload one that they download on their own. All right, so the assignment itself, if we go to the next page, okay, like I said, we scaffold them through it on how to write the program, okay? In the example here, we use the Soccer Power Index Global Rankings, okay? And you can see here, first we take them through on how to sort through some of the outputs. I believe we're using temperature values here. All right, what's the average temperature for the month in a given year? All right, we take them through the CSV module and how to read the CSV file. All right, then we ask them to try it out on their own. Now, for you, the teacher, Of course, we do include the teacher guidance here for you. And if I run the program over here, yeah, it actually goes through and it ranks all of those soccer clubs, all right, in the power rankings. All right, and if I get to the top there, okay, Barclays Premier League, all right, and that's the Power Index Global Ranking. So this is the first half of the project. Now, the second half of the project, and you can see this is going to be graded with a rubric, is when they write the program themselves. So this is what I'm saying. This is a really good example of a create performance task. All right, like I said, we break down the code for the students. All right, imports the required module. So we're going to import the CSV. Remember, your students have to upload the CSV over here if they're going to be using their own data sets. All right, and then we go through this. We print Bob Ross painting analysis. We want to read the CSV file and store it as a variable. All right, you can see we do that here. And then we're going to scroll through all of the episodes in the spreadsheet or the data set until we find one that has a happy little tree, okay? So that's what we're looking for here. BI would be our happy trees, all right? And then we would continue. So we have our if-else statement over here, all right? We have repetition, all right? And if we type in one thing happens. And if we type in something else, another thing happens. This is a good create performance task. So if I run my code, you will see in the end that it says there were 403 Bob Ross episodes. Man, he had a good run, huh? 403. 361 of those paintings had a happy little tree in them. So this is a good project to use. Now, if you're going to have your students use Python for the create performance task, I have to remind you of one thing in our create task module. All right. When you do the create performance task, I know that for a majority of you, a lot of your students are going to use Scratch. So for the Scratch people, they do CT1, CT2, CT3, and then CT4, Scratch program for create task. Now, if your students are doing Python, don't forget, we want to allow them to collaborate on the coding portion of the create performance task, but we don't want to let them collaborate on the written response. So you'll still do CT1, CT2, and CT3 with the Python students as well, just like you do with the Scratch students, okay? We're doing all that together. And then when we get to CT4, you'll notice here we have CT 4.1 and 4.2. Develops Python program for create task, and then the written response. So this is CT 4.1. Your students come up to you, Bill and Ted want to work together on the create performance task in Python. So you will actually have to, in CT 4.1, turn on pair programming and make Bill and Ted a pair. And then that way they can work on it, all right? And Bill and Ted will develop their program, and then Bill and Ted will collaborate, okay? And eventually, in the Python IDE over here, yeah, they'll both have the Python program when they're done. So for 4.1, you're going to turn pair programming on. But then after they get done writing the program, they each have to do 4.2, the written response, on their own. That way there will be no collaboration being done on the written response, even though they collaborated on the program. So notice what it says for 4.2, do not turn on paired programming. Okay, do not make Bill and Ted a group. All right. And then you can see the project workspace will automatically pull the student's project into here. Okay. So automatically, the student's project from 4.1 will pull to 4.2, but the students will not be a group, okay? So I wanted to just highlight assignment 5.10, because I know some people skip unit 5 or just highlight the data ones. This is a really good assignment to do with your students if they're going to use Python for the create performance task. And then remember, Python students have 2 CT4s to fill out. CT 4.1, where they develop the program together, and CT 4.2, where they're just going to do the written response. But the Python program will be there because it'll automatically be pulled. That is assignment 5.10. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you.